The WHOW app. AgriTalk on WHOW.
News time, 8 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Monday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast. Streaming to Facebook and YouTube, it's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. The DARE program is almost a staple for anyone who grew up in rural America. The latest installment of the program gets underway this week at Clinton Elementary School, and Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers indicates this is a program that has been in Clinton now for many years.
Next week, we start the DARE program. The DARE program dating back 30-plus years now. It began in the early 90s. It was originally started by now Sheriff Mike Walker, who was a young deputy at the time, brought the DARE program to the Clinton School District. He was joined by Chief Reedy in 93, 94, and they tag-teamed the program together through the early 2000s. And then Sheriff Walker, or Deputy Walker, kind of stepped aside, and Chief Reedy carried it through his retirement in 2013. And we have carried that legacy on, I guess, as a program that they started. You know, a tremendous program. It's a 10-week curriculum, but we spend 12 to 14 weeks. We spend a couple extra weeks doing some activities and maybe hitting a couple of the lessons a little harder than just what the curriculum calls.
Chief Lowers calls it a great program and in recent years has come under some scrutiny about its effectiveness and questions regarding if the lessons are reaching youth.
I think it's a great program. You know, DARE had come under some scrutiny in the early, 2010s, I guess, of is it effective? The whole say no to drugs, The the curriculum was redone in 2013-14, I believe it was. And, it's certainly updated to the challenges that kids today are facing. And I do think that it's a successful program. And I'll tell you what it does for us as much as anything. It still has the acronym of DARE, Drug Abuse Resistance Education, but actually we only spend one lesson out of 10 talking about alcohol, tobacco, and illegal drugs. It dances around that topic. We talk about confident communication. We talk about making good choices. In all aspects of your life, We talk about bullying. We talk about being a good citizen. We talk about all those things, trying to create a more confident young adolescent who is able to think on their own and not be as influenced by others.
The chief indicates in recent years, school resource officer Mike Bennett would help out with the program. This year, first-year school resource officer Cody Mayer will help lead it and reminds it's a very beneficial program locally because it gets authorities in front of kids and allows those kids to get to know law enforcement at a more personal level.
In addition to the 10-week curriculum and the lessons that come along with that, what it also does is it provides a positive interaction between our local law enforcement and those fifth grade students. Believe it or not, some of those students at that age, we're talking 10, 11 years old, have already had negative encounters with law enforcement because of maybe a family situation at home or something. Maybe they themselves haven't, but maybe they've been witness to domestic violence or to an arrest situation or to drugs in the home, things like that. So some of those students actually do or have had maybe a negative outlook because of their influences on law enforcement. And we have a lot of fun, believe it or not. I know Chief Reedy did, and I certainly do as well. We have a lot of fun with the kids, and quite frankly, it humanizes the badge a little bit, but it also provides a positive encounter between our local law enforcement community and those young kids.
Chief Lowers points out for him and whoever does the program with him, they find they get more out of being with kids of Clinton schools than they put into it and calls it very enjoyable. The Medicare Part B open enrollment period is underway. Jack Myers at Social Security says if you did not apply for Medicare Part B, the medical insurance, within 3 months before or after turning age 65, you have another opportunity each year called the General Enrollment Period. It runs from January to March of each year.
Yeah, so and it's a different period, Seth, because we were talking about the prescription drug open enrollment period, which was the latter part of last year. And then once we turned the calendar, actually that ended a little bit before the end of the year, but now that we have turned the calendar into 2024, we are in the start of the Medicare Part B, as in boy, general enrollment period. So that's going to be from January through March of each year. And what that really is, Seth, is it's an opportunity for you to get enrolled in Medicare Part B if you didn't apply for Part B during your initial enrollment period, which would have been, 3 months before you turn 65, the month you turn 65, or 3 months after. It's also true if you're on Medicare because of disability and you didn't take the Part B, maybe you refused the Part B when you were first eligible, and then some time has gone by and now you kind of want to get back into Part B. This would be your time to do it. This is, again, what's called the general enrollment period. It is January through March.
Enrollment is effective the month after you enroll. According to Myers, if you do not enroll when first eligible, you may have to pay a higher premium once you do enroll, and your monthly premium will increase 10% for each 12-month period that you were eligible for Part B but did not sign up. Certain circumstances will qualify you for a special enrollment period, which will offer an opportunity to enroll in Medicare without penalty. Get the latest in local news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Central Illinois News, Agriculture, and Sports Station, WHOW, on all of its platforms, AM, FM, and streamed online, are bringing all the great things happening at our local high schools to the radio in January. We're hitting the road for the WHOW High School Road Tour. Join us when we broadcast live from Monticello High School from 9 till 10 in the morning on Monday, January 22nd. Interviewing the Monticello High School principal, athletic director, student council president, and one of the club student presidents. This WHOW High School Road Tour stop at Monticello High School is brought to you by these sponsors. Kevin Feeney with Burgess & Klein Insurance in Monticello.
By shopping at Love It Once More Thrift Store in Clinton, you help us help others. But you also help yourself by getting fantastic items at great prices. And this month, all clothes are 20% off. This is Connie. Be sure to check our Facebook, Instagram, or DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is Ryan Utterback with Utterback Real Estate. Are you looking for a professional?
Like a professional cornhole player?
No, a professional realtor.
Or a professional bowler? Strike!
And that's why you're the other Ryan.
For a professional buying and selling experience, click the Utterback Real Estate icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN Sports, I'm Ron DeRockstra. 4 of 6 wild card games in the books in the NFL. Jared Goff yesterday threw for 277 yards and a touchdown to lead the Lions past the Rams 24-23. Denny Cap has highlights.
Goff became the first quarterback in NFL history to beat a team in which he previously won a playoff game with, and in turn gave the Lions their first playoff win in 32 years. The Lions will host a divisional round game next weekend. Matthew Stafford threw for 362 yards and 2 touchdowns. Puka Nacua caught 9 balls for 181 yards, and the Rams lost.
Cowboys owner Jerry Jones says he's not ready yet to discuss the future of coach Mike McCarthy, quarterback Dak Prescott, or anything else for that matter. After a stunning playoff loss to Green Bay yesterday, Jones says the 48-32 stunner at home, one of the biggest surprises since he's been involved in sports. Dallas is looking at 29 years since the franchise's last trip to the NFC Championship game. SRN Sports. The last 2 wild card games tonight, Steelers are at the Bills, then the Eagles played at Tampa Bay. On the ice, the Red Wings rally to beat the Maple Leafs. John Leatherby has details.
Andrew Kopp scored the game winner with less than 2 minutes left as Detroit doubled up the Maple Leafs 4-2 at Scotiabank Arena. Dylan Larkin had a goal and an assist in the win, which capped a wild travel day for Detroit, who had to deal with airplane and weather delays. Mitch Marner's goal was his 600th point of his career, the fastest Leaf to reach that mark.
The other game was the Rangers' 2-1 winners at the Capitals. Igor Shesterkin made 24 saves, and the Rangers snap a 4-game losing streak. Timberwolves beat the Clippers in the NBA. Bucks over the Kings. Trailblazers fall to the Suns. Nuggets beat the Pacers, and the Heat beat the Hornets in a short schedule. And college basketball, 4th-ranked UConn beats Georgetown. Maryland upsets number 10 Illinois. And Memphis beats Wichita State. SRN Sports.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. In a game heard on WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com, Maroa-Forsyth sophomore Avery Braden scored a game-high 20 points, and the Lady Trojans used a fast start to get by Monticello 54-38 in non-conference girls basketball Saturday afternoon from the Seaver Center in Monticello. Braden scored the first 5 points of the third quarter and had 11 of her 20 in the frame. Monticello started out with a 4-0 lead, but the Lady Trojans finished the quarter on a 16-3 run to lead 16-7. Monticello was largely able to hang with Maroa-Forsyth, but could never get closer than 11 points in the second half. Maya High scored 11 of her 16 points in the second half and grabbed 11 rebounds to lead the Lady Sages. Monticello had won 5 of its last 6 games, falling to 8-13 overall, while the Lady Trojans go to 16-4. 3 players scored in double figures for St. Joe, and a big third quarter helped the Spartans pull away from the Maroa-Forsyth Trojans, 63-46 in non-conference high school boys basketball action Saturday in St. Joseph. Tanner Jacob paced St. Joe with 20 points, while the Spartans leading 29-22 at the intermission. St. Joe came out and steamrolled to a 49-28 lead after 3 quarters thanks to a 20-6 frame where Jacob led the way with 11 of his 20. Luke Landris scored 11 of his 13 points in the first half, and Tanner Seams had 14 for St. Joe. Caden Maurer paced the Trojans with 14 points, and Mitch Williams scored 11. The Trojans fall to 10-6 overall. Weather permitting, they will travel to Rochester Tuesday night for a 7 p.m. tip. Argenta-Oreana was able to avenge a Macon County tournament loss Saturday by stopping Decatur St. Teresa 59-39 in non-conference high school boys basketball action Saturday in Decatur. The Bombers led 18-8 after 1 quarter and 33-14 at the break. Ethan Mahan paced the Bombers with 17 points. Jalen Flowers had 13, and Chase Logue scored 8 points. Mark Przezinski paced St. T with 10. No other players scored in double figures for the Bulldogs. St. T falls to 7-13 overall, while the Bombers improve to 11-8. Argenta-Oreana travels to Unity Christian in Decatur Tuesday night for a Lincoln Prairie tilt. Aaron Jones ran for 3 touchdowns. Jordan Love threw for 3 more in his postseason debut, and Darnell Savage returned an interception, 64 yards for a touchdown, as the Green Bay Packers handed the Dallas Cowboys their first home loss since the 2022 opener in a 48-32 wild card stunner on Sunday. Even against a team that had won 16 consecutive home games, Green Bay will now visit the top-seeded San Francisco 49ers in the divisional round next weekend. Dak Prescott threw 2 interceptions before 3 mostly empty touchdown passes in another playoff flop for him and the second-seeded Cowboys. The first home loss for the Cowboys since now-retired Tom Brady in Tampa Bay beat them 16 months ago was the most points the franchise has allowed in a postseason game. The previous high was 38. The Cowboys, who have not reached an NFC championship game since the most recent of their 5 Super Bowl titles 28 years ago, did not trail by more than 8 points at AT&T Stadium this season, falling behind 27-0 in the first half. The loss raises questions about the future of Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy after Dallas lost their playoff opener at home for a second time in 3 postseasons under the former Packers coach. Dallas is the first team to win at least 12 games in 3 consecutive playoff seasons without making a conference title game. The Cowboys surged to the NFC East title in the final 2 weeks and had a chance to be home at least twice this postseason. Instead, they head into a suddenly uncertain offseason. Romeo Dubes had a career-high 151 yards receiving a week after being hospitalized with a chest injury as the Packers rolled after finishing the regular season 6-2 to grab the NFC's final playoff spot. Dubes, who returned to the Green Bay sideline after his hospitalization at the end of last week's 17-9 home victory over the Bears, secured a playoff spot, had 102 yards by half. It was 7 more than the second-year player's previous best. First-half catches of 22, 26, and 39 helped Love get going, and the fourth-year quarterback was 16 of 21 for 272 yards as the Packers scored touchdowns on 6 of their first 7 offensive possessions in their highest scoring game since 2014. One of them was set up by Prescott's first interception at the Dallas 19-yard line from Jerry Alexander after he was questionable coming in when he sprained his ankle during the week. A 46-yard grab by Dubes early in the second half helped finish off the Cowboys after they had scored 10 points on either side of the break. Dubes, Luke Musgrave, and Datavian Wicks each had touchdown receptions. Jones finished with 118 yards rushing, putting him over the century mark in all 4 career games against the Cowboys with 9 total touchdowns. Prescott finished 41 of 60 for 403 yards, with all 3 of his touchdowns to tight end Jake Ferguson. Jameer Young scored 28 points, and Julian Reese had 20 and 11 rebounds to help lead Maryland to a 76-67 victory over 10th-ranked Illinois. The 10th time this week a ranked team in the top 10 of the AP poll has lost. Maryland outscored Illinois 39-28 in the second half, taking the lead for good on a dunk by Reese with 15:32 to go. That made it 47-46. The Terrapins, who were 8.5-point underdogs according to FanDuel Sportsbook, won a road Big Ten game for the first time this season. Marcus Damask had 26 for Illinois, who drops to 12-4 overall and 3-2 in the Big Ten. Luke Goody had 13. Coleman Hawkins, who had scored in double figures in 7 straight games for the Illini, fouled out with 2:50 left. He had 8 points and 7 rebounds. Illinois shot 22.5% from the floor in the second half. A jumper by Damask got Illinois within 68-65 with 1:09 to go, but Maryland responded with a 6-0 run to put the game away. Illinois led 39-37 at the half thanks to Dane Danger scoring 7 straight points for the Illini in the final minute 28. Those were his only points of the game. Illinois is 3-2 in 5 games without star Terrence Shannon Jr., who has been suspended by the university because he's facing a rape charge in Lawrence, Kansas. Shannon sought a temporary restraining order Friday in U.S. District Court in Springfield that, if granted, would force the university to reinstate him to the team. Judge Colleen Lawless promised to rule in an expedited manner. Shannon will be arraigned on the rape charge on January 18th in Lawrence. The trial is not expected to begin until June, with 7 teams ahead of them in the AP Top 25, including top-ranked Purdue, second-ranked Houston, and third-ranked Kansas all losing this week. The Illini were poised to make a leap in the poll, but not anymore. Illinois fell to 9-2 as a 7-game win streak at the State Farm Center came to an end. Illinois is at Michigan on Thursday. Cooper Schweiger had 16 points in Valparaiso's 59-50 victory over Illinois State Sunday. Schweiger had 13 boards for the 5-12 Beacons, who picked up their first win in the Missouri Valley. Isaiah Stafford had 11 points and 5 rebounds, while Darius Deavero had 9 points and shot 3 of 12 from the floor and 3 for 4 at the foul line. The Beacons snapped a 10-game losing streak. Miles Foster led the Redbirds in scoring, finishing with 9 points. Illinois State got 9 points from Darius Burford, and Kendall Lewis put up 8 points with 8 rebounds. Valpo took the lead with 3:24 remaining in the first half and never looked back. Schweiger led their team in scoring with 8 points in the first half to put them up 28-20 at the break. Valparaiso outscored Illinois State in the second half by 1 point, with Stafford scoring a team-high 8 in the final half. The Redbirds will host Drake on Wednesday. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Imagine if you could talk to your nurse